Welcome to the navigation video for our new CA6 Expanded control. This new software offers many new features not previously available. You can easily upgrade by giving us a call, and we can send you a chip that is easy to install. It has a new navigation system where the operators can easily work their way through the menu to make the changes that they need to make, and it has many new other features that I'll explain as I go through the video. So let's get started. This is the I/O screen. It's one of the most important screens that comes up. It's telling you currently that it's in the stop mode. The top row is your inputs. We only use number 1, which would be the material input switch in this case, which would be highlighted if the material switch was calling for material. At the bottom are your outputs. 1 would be material 1, 2 would be material 2, 3 is filter, 4 is blend, 5 is no load alarm, and 6 is an open relay to cut the machine off after you've had a no load alarm for a certain period of time. So this is very important when you're troubleshooting because it tells you if the control is getting a signal and if it's trying to send a signal out to the controls and to the solenoids, so that you can easily find out if you're troubleshooting a problem, if it's before the control or after the control. For this software to work, it must be in the run mode. The navigation software is not accessible in the stop mode as it has been previously. So for practical purposes, it should always be in the run mode, and if you want to turn it off, just use the on and off switch on the controller. So first, let's go ahead and put it into the run mode. We're going to hit escape, and then we're going to go down to run, and we're going to say OK. It's going to ask us to confirm that. We're going to say yes. And now you see stop comes back up. And it's asking us if we want to go back into the stop mode. But we don't. We want to go ahead and start navigating. So we go back to the I/O screen. Now there was a lot of discussion as to whether we should use the up key or the down arrow to navigate through the menu. And we decided just to use both. So you can use either the up or down key. The menu will still scroll down. So let's go to our first page. This is load material 1 and load material 2. All of our settings in this control are set in 1/10 of a second. That's extremely important because it's a very fast cycling control. We want to load every shot or two so that we can blend properly and maintain dry material. So these are both set at 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds is a typical setting for virgin material or drawing from a dryer in a press under 200 tons, but the regrind is too low at 1.5 seconds because we need to empty the grinder every single load. So that should be between 2 and 4 seconds. So to change any value in this control, you want to hit select. Then you want to use the arrow keys to go to the digit you want to change. In this case, let's change it to 2.5 seconds. So I'm going to go to the 1, which I want to change to a 2. I'm going to hit select. Now you can see there's a cursor underneath it which is telling us that we can change it. And I'm just going to hit this once, and it's changed to 25, which is 2.5 seconds. That's a good change. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And we can hit escape. Now it is set at 2.5 seconds. So every time we're going to load for 1.5 seconds on the virgin and 2.5 seconds to empty the grinder. Again, that must be long enough to empty the grinder every single time. That's how we keep the proportion of regrind correct, and it's how we keep the grinder from clogging and overfilling. Let's go to the next screen. Okay, this is setting the blend time and the filter time. The blend time is set at 2 seconds. That would be typical. You can set it up to 4 seconds sometimes on smaller machines, but generally between 2 and 4 seconds is a good setting for the blend time. Next is the filter time. It's set at 6 seconds. That means that we will spend 6 seconds cleaning the filter each time we load. We go down to the next screen, and it's going to tell us more about that. This is your filter on and your filter off time, and this is the pulse time. So it's currently set at 0.6 seconds on and 0.6 seconds off. That's fine. There's really not a lot of reason to adjust this, but some people do when they're running extremely dusty materials. But you need the off time to be long enough for the pressure to build back up. And let's go to the next screen. Okay, this is no load delay and no load cutoff. And this is your alarm. So no load delay is currently set here at 10 seconds, which is 100. That's typical. You can set it a little bit less or a little bit more, but in most cases you have material within 1 second. And if you're not going to get material within 1 or 2 seconds, you're not going to get it at all. So you don't need to set this out at 30 seconds or any time that you would use in any other type of controller. Really, I would just keep it at 10 seconds. I think that's good. So if your Gaylord is empty or your material source, we're going to know that you don't have material within 10 seconds. The no load cutoff is how long after it goes into the no load alarm that it stops trying to load. This is particularly important for lights out operations, so that it doesn't sit and try to load all night long and run down the compressed air in the whole facility. So it will shut down and stop trying to load in that case. No load also doesn't go into effect until it has loaded several times. The material switch has to be filled. So no load won't happen. Let's say you're loading a drying hopper or a large magnet and it's loading several times but it's not filling up. It has to be full at least 2 cycles before it will even look for a no load alarm. This is what we call static tap. This comes from a customer who said every once in a while I need to just tap on the glass to stop the static from building up. And what this does is it sets the fluidizer or the blend to just run. Basically, most people set it on the cycle time. So if you're running a 30-second cycle time, you can set it at 30 seconds. And then you can set it for between 2 and 3 seconds. And it just gives a blast of compressed air and fluidizes the sight glass. And if there is any bridging or any static buildup on the glass, it will clear that. And it can be used for additional blending. And many customers use it for that. So typically, as you can see here, the off time is set at 30 seconds. And you would set the on time maybe 20 for 2 seconds. It doesn't normally have to be as long as you would use for blend. Very, very useful. If you have static or bridging problems, it will eliminate them. And you can also use it for additional blending. Okay, this is slow start delay. This is a new feature. And it works basically similar to what no load does in that it waits and it goes off the signal as to how many times the material switch has been filled. So if you're putting your loader on a hopper, on a dryer, or on a large magnet, and you don't want to just run and run and run and run when you first turn it on. For example, if you had a 300-pound hopper, it would be running constantly for 20 or 30 minutes. And that could affect your compressed air in your plant. So now they're smart enough to know that you really don't want to do that if that's the case. And currently you can see this 10 seconds. So there'll be a 10-second delay between each cycle. So it will basically be running at about 20% what it could be running at if that was set at 0. And then once the hopper fills and the material switch is satisfied twice, it will go into the regular load mode. So if you're just putting it on a magnet, this is going to all take place in a few minutes. You probably wouldn't even notice it. If you were to put this on a drying hopper, you would notice right away that it's not cycling very fast, and that's because you don't want to use up all your compressed air at one time. So that's a new feature, and a lot of customers have really liked that. The next one is filter skip, and right now it's set to clean the filter every load, but you can set that at 2 or 3. Because we're loading for only fractions of a second, it's not always necessary to clean the filter every single time you load. So you can set that out at 3 or 4 or 5, and it will save compressed air depending upon your application, and then you can bring it back down to what you need. So it's a good feature to have. Most customers use it. I typically say set it at 2 and see how it goes. If you have filter problems, set it at 1. If you don't, try setting it at 3 and work your way out. It depends also on the type of filter and whether you have an expanded filter or not. Okay. And that's basically it. So it's a lot simpler to get through. This tells you the software version, which is important. Of course, it's got our 800 number here. And you can see that I can hit either button I should be able to hit. There you go. And you can go through the screen this way. I have had put some delays on here because the simulator won't work real time, so this controller is a lot faster in real life than what you're seeing here. Now let's go ahead and tell it to do something and see what it does. So we're going to tell the material switch 1 to come on. And there's a delay, and it's come on, it's going to load for 1.5 seconds. And then there's a delay, you may have noticed here, we'll see this again, between 1 and 2. That's built into the program. It's no longer adjustable, and that's to give the check valve enough time to close so that it doesn't blow regrind into your virgin source. And then you did see the pulsing of the filter in the blend. So we're going to go ahead and have it load again, and you're going to see that delay. So it's a delay to come on because it's buffered. 1.5 seconds, a delay for the regrind, then the regrind, then it should blend, and then it's going to pulse clean the filter. And that's basically it. If we were to leave this on for 10 seconds, then you would see number 5 light up and it would go into alarm. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 800-918-5820, and we would be happy to help you, and we can also help you upgrade your existing software if you would like to do that. Have a great day, and thank you for watching our video.